You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
Hello, this is Pete Mitchell from No More Kings, and you're listening to the Grawlix Podcast.
This is Randy. In the future, every day is Halloween. Ministry was right.
This is Jesse, and in the future, doctors will come up with something better for gallbladders, appendix, and tonsils than just cutting them out.
This is Melanie, and in the future, if you look in the mirror in the dark and say Grawlix 3 times, your favorite comic book will appear.
I like that one. I like that one a lot.
That's a great, yes.
Not very scary.
We're the Candyman.
Oh, I like that a lot. What if they said it 3 times and then our favorite comic book appeared for them?
Okay. That'll
Or
work.
Qbert appeared.
Qbert appeared with comic books.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or maybe your favorite comic book will appear, but all these things will be blacked out. Now try to read it. Enjoy it, huh?
Yeah, they're all symbols. Like the whole,
Everything's
you're like you think it's awesome, and you open it up, and the whole thing is just Grawlix.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Only Qbert could read it to you, but you can't understand him either.
It's horrible.
That's how we do Halloween. Ha ha ha.
Welcome to the Grawlix Podcast, episode number. Now this is 55, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally.
I guess since we don't count,
Yes.
Bites and Nights as episodes, we count them halves. But
Yeah, we'd be into like 60 or 70 something now.
Yeah.
If that were the case.
But we don't. So
Nope.
I'd
nope.
count pre-shows.
Someday
if
we'll
I
do
could.
Someday we'll do legacy numbering, and we'll just get rid of those imprints, and it'll be like episode 7,000.
Yeah.
Which is not even true, but
yeah.
This can get lumped into in-house news, but I was actually kind of contemplating. So we're obviously we haven't done a Halloween episode yet this year. We always do because
Halloween's the greatest thing that ever was.
Yeah.
And never will be.
yeah, exactly. And this episode is not a Halloween episode per se.
But
So we're gonna have a special Halloween episode this year in addition to the 2 regulars. Man, we're just giving it away for free.
yeah, we do.
But I was
Dude.
actually
Or Patreon.
or Patreon, which is not so free, but it's so cheap it might as well be free. You should just go over there. Go over there. Become a patron.
Just check it out. Take a look. Take a look at it.
yeah, you get free stuff for your $1.
For free stuff for $1.
You know what? Okay, I've got a rant. I just went to Wendy's recently, and they had a thing. It was like, for $1, you can get was it 5 free Frosty Jr. coupons or whatever. I was like, free. I don't think that word means what you think it means.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If I have to pay $1, it's not free.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Is that like the
They need to reward it. 5 coupons for free Frosties. That's what they need to say.
is that for a charity thing?
I don't know.
Or-
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Well, then they
and
can-
So, I mean, like, it's all for a good cause, but, like, it's shady marketing.
Oh, for
you
sure.
know?
For sure.
Because free is, like, in big letters.
They
And
need,
$1 is not.
They need to not do that because that is bad for children. I once worked at a candy store, and these kids, seriously, little kids that didn't know how to read yet, came up to me and they said, "This says free. Can I just have it?" I'm like, "It says sugar-free, kid. Get out of here."
Oh, yeah.
Get out here. You bother me. Yeah. Sure.
Plus, if you eat that, you're going to have diarrhea.
Yeah, it's true.
Where was I? So
Yeah, the Halloween thing we're going to do.
My original segue into Halloween was I'm contemplating doing something crazy and not even using the Nights or Bites imprint, and it'll just be like the Grawlix Podcast Halloween special, and then whatever the episode title.
Yeah. But so we don't.
Would that be
Episode it?
episode 56 or no numbers, no imprints, no nothing?
I mean, I guess the Halloween special becomes the imprint. I don't know.
But
I'm afraid. I don't, because
Just do it. Just do it. You're thinking too much. Just do
it's
it.
kind of like annuals, like comic book annuals. I kind of hate them.
Oh, yeah.
Because anymore they're a part of the regular series, but they're not, and they don't contribute to the numbering. At least they went to annual number 1, number 2, number 3 instead of annual 97, 98,
what about like
2015.
a Doctor Who Christmas special?
See? I don't know. What episode number is that? We don't know.
Unless there's a regeneration, we don't know where it even goes.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it kind of drives me crazy. Not that anyone's going to care. It's literally just an audio file that goes into a feed. It'll be in its proper placement for I'm assuming as long as the feed's up. But
Maybe it doesn't get an episode number. It gets a title, like
Or a letter.
Halloween special, and then some phrase from the thing. So it doesn't need a number because it's got a title.
well, yeah, I'm thinking about not doing a number.
Yeah.
The problem is someday, if our Patreon, if we hit a certain Patreon goal, we're going to start doing annuals. The problem with that is how do we start numbering annuals? Because we've already been going for what, 3-4 years, almost 4 years. Mm-hmm. Annual number 1's not right.
Then we don't name them annuals. We name them omnibuses.
Do an omnibus episode.
Oh no, we couldn't do an omnibus.
How
recording
long
session.
would that be?
Be like, oh Lord, 3 months worth of recording, and be like 12 hours of recording.
Woo. But we'll do like a Halloween one shot.
Yep.
So that's a way to talk about episode titles, issue numbering, and announce that we're doing a special Halloween episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not really sure how much we should say about it at this point, but I'm super excited for it because it's going to be quite a bit different.
Quite.
Yeah. I think you'll like it.
Mm-hmm.
Did we talk about it in the last episode?
No, we did not.
Okay. I was going to say, are we being unnecessarily ambiguous?
We're being, I mean, probably, but we didn't talk about it last episode.
It's a surprise.
Yeah. Fair enough.
The question is, do we want to keep it a surprise?
Yes.
Okay. At the time of recording, it's not completely finished. It's not produced like at all. So maybe we should be vague. That way, if something happens, we're just like,
I was going to say,
crap,
if
let's
it's
slap
a
something
surprise,
together.
we already did that wrong.
hey, surprise!
Hey, surprise! We totally told you this was coming.
There's gonna be a surprise coming.
It's gonna be
That's like, okay, you're going to have a surprise party.
okay.
Yeah, it's happening here and at this time, but we're not going to tell you what for.
Yeah, this is gonna be like my mom, or my mom would be like, "This is what you got for Christmas, but act surprised when you get it." Thanks, Mom. That'll work.
Well, see, but you're getting something for Christmas. You just ideally don't know what. So that's what this is. They know they're getting something. They just don't know what.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like Halloween Christmas.
The best possible combinations of anything that ever
The best
was.
Christmas
Yeah,
ever.
'cause it's the good parts of Halloween, all the crap stuff that you hate.
There's all the stuff about Halloween is good.
No,
Talking about Christmas?
Yeah.
The good stuff of Christmas
Yeah.
without all the crap?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. There's no bad things about
Okay,
Halloween.
so
We're just going to reskin Christmas with Halloween because that sounds amazing.
That does sound amazing.
Yeah.
where does pumpkin spice fall into all this? Because is that just a fall thing?
In a Taco Bell
Because
taco.
I feel like that is not a thing that is great about Halloween. If that's Halloween's fault,
I think it's a fine thing. Maybe not
you
great.
are wrong, but that's okay.
Maybe not great. But at this point, I think it is kind of great because of what it does to you. I enjoy the fallout of it.
No.
I enjoy...
I used to like pumpkin spice. You wouldn't be able to tell it based on this podcast, but I used to like pumpkin spice, and then they did it wrong.
You're right. It is a little bit the Christmasization of Halloween.
I had some pumpkin spice pretzels the other day, and I couldn't tell if I liked them or not. I'm like, it just seems wrong.
Yep.
That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, exactly.
And I like most pumpkin spice things, but pumpkin spice pretzels?
They weren't
Oh.
bad necessarily. It's just like these aren't supposed to be here. You know, that was the feeling I got.
You know it's a Halloween episode. We're complaining about pumpkin spice.
Yeah, that's how you know it is. It's that time of year because there's pumpkin spice Kit Kats out there or pumpkin pie Kit Kats. That's got to be Thanksgiving, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you make it pumpkin pie.
I don't know.
It seems like Thanksgiving.
Pumpkin pie sounds better than pumpkin spice to me, though.
Well, yeah, it's all right. Like the first one tastes pretty good. It's actually really good, right? Second one, pretty good. Third one tastes like bile. Tastes like bile.
Wow.
That's a flavor now.
That escalated quickly.
Yeah. I feel like they should put that on the label, like, don't eat 3.
Well, maybe they just assume some people have self-control.
These are like snack sized. Like, that's not even, I mean, like if they package this as like one Kit Kat, that's like a package. So you eat like a package, bile. That's delicious. Glad they put bile in a wafer form.
Oh, give me a break.
Oh, you.
That wasn't even a pun. That was just a slogan applied.
Yeah, right. Timely slogan.
This episode's sponsor, Kit Kat. Now comes in bile.
Delicious bile pie flavor.
Give me a break. Seriously. Give me a break.
No, seriously. We'll break something. That escalated quickly.
Yes, it did.
I apologize for that.
As you should.
That's what pumpkin spice. That's what pumpkin spice does to him now.
Makes them
It
escalate.
does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Turns me into the pumpkin spice Hulk. There's every other color. Might as well be a pumpkin spice
I thought
Hulk.
you were going to say pumpkin spice king. Is that a pumpkin
This
king?
pumpkin
Is that a
spice
thing?
king.
I don't know.
What's the
The
pumpkin king?
yeah, what was Jack Skellington?
That's what I
Isn't he
thought.
the
Okay,
Oh,
that's what
yeah,
I thought.
yeah.
That's where I got it.
I think so.
Why? Because he's not a pumpkin.
Nightmare.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Halloween.
but I think he is the pumpkin
Talk
king,
about
isn't he?
that's Christmas skinned with Halloween,
Yeah.
but
true.
still
Yeah.
not quite what I envisioned. But still, in the future, we're skinning Christmas with Halloween. Figure that one out.
Oh.
We're gonna Leatherface Christmas up.
Yeah, yeah. That sounds great. Oh, the
Okay,
gifts
I
will
looked
show
it up,
you.
and the Pumpkin King is Jack Skellington's title.
All right.
He's the king of Halloween, apparently.
Well, yeah. Okay, I accept it.
Like you do.
Yeah. Okay. So wow, that was there we go. This episode we're gonna be talking about. Are we just gonna launch into poll list? Should we do this?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Feels appropriate.
Yep.
Well, speaking of pumpkin kings, okay, this episode we're going to be talking about our poll list pick, which was
What's that?
well, our poll. Oh
What's
man,
what's a poll list?
gl-
Oh my goodness.
I'm glad you asked. In this context and the way we spell it, a poll list, it's basically a poll, as in you can vote on it on our website. It's a poll in which listeners and visitors to our website suggest things we should read and vote on things that we should read. Each month, the book with the most votes is what we read for the following month. Last month, the winner was the Immortal Iron Fist,
Which we read.
and we will discuss
Yep.
this episode. And now, though, we're going to talk about what is the current winner that we will talk about next month.
Yes. What is that winner?
It is Hellblazer with 28% of the votes.
Woo! And Hellblazer is not a jacket that is on fire, so you know.
No, not a Hellblazer.
Yes,
Yeah, not a Hell Sports Blazer, just a Hellblazer.
Hell Sports Blazer was something Melanie was very not excited about until we told her it was Constantine.
And then I'm like, yeah.
They really should just call it Constantine, but I feel like Keanu Reeves probably ruined that for everyone.
So Hellblazer, as it was...
I got a disapproval from the other room. Holly's like, hey.
Well, Keanu Reeves has a habit of, picking good movies and then kind of making them slightly less...
Something else.
Yeah.
I mean, Keanu Reeves, if you read Constantine at all, is a terrible pick.
Yeah.
But also, it's not completely his fault because his whole character arc was he quit smoking. And if you read Constantine at all, you also know, what?
Yeah.
That's not Constantine.
Exactly. It's not a bad movie. It's just not a good adaptation.
Yeah. Once again, it's a fairly vague selection, a vague suggestion, because there's been a lot of Hellblazer. Had they moved Swamp Thing and Constantine and all that over to the Vertigo imprint when they started Hellblazer? Or
Believe so.
Okay. So we could either read, I mean, there's some fairly current DC specific stuff, or Vertigo's still like DC, but it was their imprint.
It's better.
Read some older Vertigo stuff? Okay.
Yes.
We'll do some research, find out what the best to read is, what we can actually get our hands on. But yeah, we'll probably be reading and discussing some Vertigo Hellblazer.
Yes.
Maybe, I don't know if that was in Swamp Thing or Hellblazer or not. We can find the one where Swamp Thing makes himself out of marijuana. The meme I always see.
Really? That's awesome.
And there's also the one where, and this might be just Swamp Thing, where he like tracked down Constantine and did his Swamp Thing teleport there through the tobacco and Constantine's cigarette.
That was a Swamp Thing.
Oh, that was a Swamp Thing? Okay.
I think. Have I read some Constantine before?
I think you've read some recent Hellblazer stuff.
I have?
Yeah, but I don't know that you read a lot.
You're right, because never mind, doesn't matter why. Let's continue with the story.
No, I remember reading something. Yeah, I'm sorry, this is total aside. I remember reading something where
I think
Constantine's accent was like super cheese.
And I was having issues because they just decided to put everyone that has ever existed in a freaking comic book in a room together and expect me to know what the heck's going on.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I hate when they do that. But anyway, that was that. What's that top hat girl?
Zatanna?
That you have a thing for. I'm like, who is she? And this is stupid and I don't like her character. Get her out of here. And I don't understand what's happening.
Well, that's all part of the magical, mystical side of DC. But I tried to read a Zatanna solo series a while back, and man, I just couldn't get into it. Yeah, I like Zatanna. I don't know why.
I don't either. She's an ugly outfit, and her power is stupid.
Well, I mean, her power is cool. Her outfit's stupid.
No, her power's pretty stupid too.
She does magic stuff.
She talks backwards.
She's a backwards talker. Ugh. It's Twin Peaks up in here. You don't like backwards talker?
No.
What about double walker?
That's cool.
Okay. Those people?
Racist?
Those people.
Okay, let's move on, I guess.
With their backwards talk.
Yeah. It's not.
No, it's not.
Okay, so
Iron Fist is like that.
But what we read for this episode,
Sort of.
what we're about to talk about, the actual bulk of this episode, the content, we're not going to
yeah, it's no.
No. No, please don't.
Come on, Melanie.
No.
Someday Melanie's going to lead that chorus.
No,
only when we sing it. Only when we sing it.
Don't think it's going to happen. Unless you guys start making a lot of money and then give me some. Maybe.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, so what was chosen last month, as I already mentioned, was the Immortal Iron Fist. And so we looked into it, and the obvious place to start was Volume 1. So that's what we read, which is the first 6 issues.
It's the first 6 issues since it did something, I'm assuming, not ever, right?
No, not ever.
Yeah. It just jumps in the middle of some stuff, it seems like.
Yeah, no, because
the poll list
this is the very first
the Immortal Iron Fist, so we jumped to a very specific storyline on this
the
one.
Immortal Iron Fist specifically, but I mean Iron Fist had many other titles from. Right. Well, he seems like a 70s character. Kind of interesting. I'm sure they have updated his suit, but his suit still looks a little 70s. It's got the Dick Grayson disco collar totally thing going on. But this story, I believe it come out in like 2005 maybe. The trade paperback came out in 2007, so maybe it's closer to there when the actual issues were published. But mid-aughts. And through Marvel, of course, and it was written by Ed Brubaker and Matt Fraction.
Cool.
Yes. And it also happened smack in the middle of Civil War because there's some tie-in stuff there.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
I did not know.
Pencils by Travel Foreman, which is a very interesting name, and David Aha. So, like we usually do, what did you guys expect going into this?
Kung Fu.
Yeah, I expected Kung Fu. From the only thing I know about him would be the Netflix shows. I was thinking he might be kind of dumb. Not
Right.
Not like this. The book would be dumb necessarily, but like the character would be dumb. And I think it was a little bit. So I wasn't.
He had a moment, didn't he?
Yeah.
That boardroom scene. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, going into this, like, the Marvel show, or the Netflix show is what I know of Iron Fist, and it didn't seem completely inaccurate. The characterization, that is. Or at least the characterization of the TV show from this. Maybe a little extreme.
I guess I had read some Iron Fist, so I had some expectations, but not too many. Because I really, the only other Iron Fist I've ever read was tied into either an event or whatever. Like when they did Avengers versus X-Men, they all they hide out in Kunlun for a while. So that's what I know of Iron Fist. So I was a little surprised by some of the characterization of him. Like I was surprised that he was kind of dumb, but yeah. Otherwise, I don't have a lot of background in him.
Yeah, I was real curious about this going in. I wouldn't say I was excited for it, but I was curious about it. The writers are very recognizable names from comic book industry. I was kind of surprised of the team up of those two writers, but yeah, I didn't know really what to expect out of it.
Okay.
You can whatever you want.
I got a little confused by his, I guess maybe it's his origin story. So
With his father.
yeah,
Yeah, me too.
and he was born there. The way that like his dad crashed a thing, sounded like a dirigible or something, but and then his mom got eaten by wait, no. I'm
Yeah,
confused.
see, I was confused. So I think
Was he born there or was his dad born there? Who was born there?
I think Danny might have been in this version.
okay, was that the case then? So what was the deal
don't know.
with his dad?
Climbing up a mountain.
Yeah, jumped. Was he trying to get back to Kunlund? Was that it?
Maybe.
Because it sounded like his dad died trying to get back to Kunlund, in which Danny and his mom potentially didn't even know was real or not.
But if he had been born there, his mom would know it was real.
Yeah. So was that the origin for his dad?
Or that other...
Or the guy before him?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, at the very beginning?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it kind of... I mean, it kind of ties into the very beginning, but also later in the book, what's his name? Orson? The other Iron Fist that shows up? He has, like, this kind of flashback story. I think it's his story, and I'm confused as to whether him being born there was Danny's dad, or Orson. And even towards the end of the book, Danny's even like, so are you my grandfather or what? Like, what? Like, Danny doesn't know.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe we're not supposed to know. I don't know. It is kind of unclear.
It is. So anyway, there's some weirdness going on with that whole thing that confused me. And then they call themselves the Immortal Iron Fist, but obviously that's not true because they die all the time. There's been bunches of them. But that one guy that came out apparently hasn't aged in a long time either. So how does all that
Yeah,
work?
because he was in, was it World War II? Mm-hmm. But, like, he's in modern, at least 2007 modern, wherever,
And
doing
it's the
stuff,
same- like
looking the same age. Yeah.
So it's all very confusing.
Yeah.
A lot of flashbacks, and some of them tie in and some of them don't, because some of them are just like, here's another story of an Iron Fist.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just,
Yeah. And there was that weird thing with, I'm assuming that was Danny's dad as a kid in the mountains, and he was a slave to some people somehow. I don't know. I don't know what all that was about either.
Yeah. Okay. So if that was Danny's dad, then is that the kid?
Okay, that story. Yeah,
is that the kid he's talking about that was born there? Because eventually, that's what I was like. Well, so that was Danny's dad that was born there,
I don't know.
and then left at some point, and then wanted to get back because he believed he should be the Iron Fist.
Maybe. But
well, yeah, because his dad never became Iron Fist.
Right.
That's kind of the way I read it.
And if he was born there, Danny himself, I don't know if it was, but if it was,
I don't think he was. I'm looking at a thing, and it sounds like when he was 9, his dad tried to go back.
okay, then yeah.
Okay.
Then that's
So it was probably his dad that was born there.
Yeah.
yeah, or the other guy. Either his dad or the
Or
other.
he at least wound up there somehow.
Yeah, I guess it could be the other guy too. Okay, so I guess my first critique is it's kind of
We don't know what's going
kind
on.
of confusing
This is-
writing.
We maybe need like a previously on page
Yeah,
for the whole series.
yeah.
Yeah, and is Kunlun then just a big like crap pile of houses that swirls up and around in the sky? Because that's kind of what it looked like.
Yeah, there was one panel that was real weird.
It's like in another dimension kind of thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
but there's Kunlun Mountains, but Kunlun itself only appears every once however many years.
10 or 13.
Like every 10 years or something.
Yeah. Okay. Outside of the confusing jumble, the little bit of plot that's there to grab onto, that's not fair. There's a decent amount of plot to grab onto. But basically, there's kind of a shell company for Hydra that's trying to get this deal with Rand Industries. Danny does the stupid Danny thing and like says, nope, we're not doing this deal with you.
But he doesn't even know they're Hydra. He just doesn't like other countries or something, apparently.
It's because it's China.
Yeah.
Oh, is that it? No,
Yeah.
he thinks it's Hydra, but he can't just come out and say it
Okay.
because he has no proof or something.
Okay.
And eventually, it's confirmed, but he still doesn't really have proof.
Mm-hmm.
And then Davos is there trying to track. It's not Danny down specifically, right? He's trying to track Orson down,
He's trying to track Orson down for...
the Raven Queen or whatever her name was.
Yes. And then once he's out of the picture, she's going to help him get rid of Danny. So it's to get Danny.
Okay, because he was resurrected at one point. Apparently, he probably died in a past series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's Orson's this older one that shows up and. He's kind of a PTSD kind of guy. Like,
He's the Winter Soldier of the Iron Fist world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he's super hardened and kind of an opium addict, and like he shows up and causes some stuff and basically gives Danny a book of like, here's the history of the Iron Fist.
Oh yeah.
That nobody told you
Here's
about.
here's how Iron Fists work.
Yeah. The way I read this, and I could be wrong because I've never, like I said, never read any other Iron Fist, is it felt like maybe a bit more sped up and not as cool, but an Alan Moore style injecting a bunch of mythology into this character. Mm-hmm. Like he did with,
Right.
I'm referring to Swamp Thing specifically, but it felt like that kind of thing where you've had Iron Fists and the history's been kind of vague, but now we're going to do some like mythology building. So here you go. Here's a book full of different things, and we're going to give you little flashbacks to various Iron Fists throughout the centuries. And Iron Fist is a weird hero because he's not. I mean, he's a kung fu guy, so he's violent. But past Iron Fists seem like just like ruthless murderers. They're weapons. He's the living weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so Iron Fist as a superhero character is weird because it seems like all his predecessors were just like horrible murderers. I mean, in wars and
Right.
stuff, but
Yeah.
I can't see Danny Rand, Iron Fist superhero, straight up just murdering people.
Like catapulting onto a pirate ship and killing everyone on it.
yeah.
Well,
Like that female Iron Fist that we see.
Yeah. Well, and Orson like packs guns and uses his crazy magic Iron Fist power with the guns to make super explosive bullets.
Yeah, that
or
was a
something.
little. That was unusual. I wasn't prepared for that. Like Iron Fist bullets, some chi bullets.
I mean, I like it. It also ties into that. Well, the power set you thought you had, you could also do this. Like it, so it's expanding on that, I guess. But
it reminds me of something again when he has to go off.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, you can do so much more than just this."
Off planet and stuff.
Yeah,
and he discovers a lot of things that, even knowing that he could do things that he didn't know he could do before, that he's like, I never would have thought I could do this kind of thing. I buy the. I mean, I don't know, because he is supposed to be a good guy, but they're basically henchmen for gods of some nature, or divine beings of some nature, and they're not nice people. They're not people at all. They're selfish and they're not good. So it makes sense that they would just be, tools.
So how is Hydra?
Is the word.
How is Hydra tied into this? Because they are working for Davos. I guess I don't really understand Hydra as an organization well enough.
Yeah, I know, because I thought it was Nazi, and he's not a Nazi, is he?
Well, I don't know that it's necessarily Nazi, but yeah, I mean, no, Davos I don't think would be Nazi. He's just, like, I don't know where
Maybe
that...
It's communism.
I don't know that he's really in line with the Hydra mentality so much as he's using them to get to the Iron Fists.
Yeah, it definitely seems like they're working for him.
Yeah.
Including, like, hey, I'm going to work out or whatever, so,
Yeah, didn't he just, kill a bunch of them?
Yeah, come at me. Come at me, bro, and I'm just going to murder a bunch of you.
And then be like, next. Because the next group's really going to be looking forward to that.
This is jumping back.
Right.
Last episode, we talked about Defenders, and something I forgot to mention last episode is when Melanie and I were watching it, and they were training the Black Sky, and there's the final wave is, the wave that comes up and, are like, okay, well, if she's good enough, she's just going to murder us. And I'm like, it sucks to be like a ninja henchman, because unless you're like...
Well, yeah, to be on that team, you're like, oh, well, we don't want to be on C team because C team's the team that they send in just to see if they're good enough to kill us all.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you train to be a ninja, you're in this shadow organization and all this, and your whole job is leading up to, well, if the organization's doing right, this person's going to kill me.
But if they're really doing right, then they'll get some magic, dragon bone baby blood powder, and then they'll be immortal too, right?
Yeah, well, maybe.
I mean...
Except they were not good enough because they were killed.
You're right.
By...
No, I didn't mean them. I meant the organization. You would hope that they would, be nice and bring back the people that I'm assuming, told they would bring back if they got what they were going for.
Yeah.
But then again, they're bad guys, so probably not.
You can't trust a bad guy.
Nope.
Especially a bad guy in a shadow organization.
Yep.
I thought Davos's... So he's got this weird deal worked out with this Raven Queen, and he rolls around with... Most of the book, he rolls around with this pair of, chicks, this pair of ladies, who turn into ravens.
They're
or
birds.
Cranes.
They're like cranes.
Oh, it's the Crane Mother. That's what it is, not Raven Queen. Crane Mother is the lady.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they turn into, cranes.
Mm-hmm.
But then it turns out, he can sacrifice them to give himself power. Mm-hmm. And so, after he does so, he calls up the Crane Mother and is like, hey, I need you to send me more of your daughters or whatever, I don't know, a dozen.
Yeah. I'm going to kill them and take their power.
Which kind of is weird to me.
Because I'm a vampire.
Because, yeah. Well, What's His Butt does a similar thing when the other Iron Fist dies, but isn't the reason that the Crane Mother wants to kill the older Iron Fist because he killed one of her people and it takes her 3 years to have a kid or something like that? Or 30 years?
Yeah, no, he killed... Yeah, well, he had done something. Oh, he abandoned them because he went to the regular world, was in the war, come back all different, and then, bailed.
Oh.
So, yeah, she had sent...
He's a deadbeat dad?
Well, maybe. But she had talked to the other floating people, god people, or whatever it is, and got them to agree, yeah, we need to take care of this guy. He's, whatever. And she had sent her...
Champion.
And, yeah, he was going to accept it and then, like, panicked and punched her and killed her. So, yeah.
But it was one of those chicks, wasn't it?
Maybe. I don't know that it was necessarily one of the chicks, but it was somebody.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say, if she's going to kill that guy for that, why is she giving this guy dozens of them to kill? You know? But that...
I assumed it was kind of a different type deal.
Right.
If this chick's got dozens that she can just sacrifice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see? Again, it's not the clearest read.
No.
But there's Kung Fu, so... Yeah.
Well, just to touch on that, because you're right. I mean, I'm assuming most of the time somebody picks up an Iron Fist book, they're like, I want to read some Kung Fu.
And they probably understand more about Davos than we do.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, the Iron Fist history in general. I like some of the action stuff, particularly towards the end, especially when it was Danny Rand and Orson Randall.
Yeah.
Those names are problematic to me. But I like the action sequences with them. I thought there was some cool stuff. There was one page I particularly enjoyed, and it was just, Danny Rand doing hardcore parkour, but he was like...
On buildings that he bought.
On buildings that he bought.
Oh, yeah.
Because he can't fly, but as a superhero, he's got to be able to get from A to B.
So if he just buys all the buildings he needs.
Uh-huh. He does the good humanitarian stuff, too. He said so.
Well, he could donate those buildings to poor people. That'd be good to human.
Yeah, they were a lot of, like, empty, rundown buildings. Like, okay, well, you could still do something with those buildings.
Mm. And, you don't have to own a building to jump off its roof.
Or just go Batman style. You just build in a bunch of tunnels into the ground or figure out the sewers and stuff.
Can't he afford, like, a grappling gun?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was one page where he was, like, hardcore parkouring down the side of a building, and I just really liked the layout because he was pretty much, it wasn't like left to right, top to bottom. It tracked across the page in an interesting direction. It was just well done. Good layout. What was the thing we were going to touch on? That other thing we were going to touch on about the story?
The Civil War tie-in?
Yes, that's it.
Oh.
So he's got to be secretive, though, because he's not registered.
Yes, yeah. He can jump from building to building, but if they catch him, ooh. They basically just have like a little powwow. Like I think Luke Cage like picks him up after that initial battle that he has with Hydra, and he's like, "You got to be careful, man. They'll lock you up or something." And like he's got that. I think they must have stole the Chinese food thing from either this or from maybe this is like a running gag where they get tons of Chinese food and eat.
There was a ton there too.
Yeah, like he had been out for 3 hours, so he ordered like a ton. Like he's got like everything.
Yeah, so I figured I am not up on Marvel stuff. So is that not a thing anymore though? Do they not have to worry about the registry or whatever?
Oh no, it's basically been and gone at this point because there've been events after events now. It basically all got shut down because after that, Norman Osborn was, in charge. So that was as bad or worse. And then that all fell apart. And then they had the Heroic Age where it was a return to the Avengers, basically.
Well, I mentioned the art, that layout. Mm. What'd you guys think of the artwork?
It was fun. I mean, it was kind of a noir style.
Yeah, I thought like I said, there's some layouts I definitely liked, and I thought the angles and the characters and all that, the backgrounds, it all looked good, but it definitely had, and this is even from me not being a regular Marvel reader, it seems like 2000s Marvel had a very muddy style in their like inking and stuff.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's like there's lots of color, but it's all like
kind of high contrast inking, it's kind of muddy, so I'm conflicted about that, but I think that's more a style choice.
It's the sign of the times. That's how you know when it was done in the 2000s.
It's ironic because it reminds me a little bit of Jessica Jones when it was Alias. I wonder if the artist maybe they may have no correlation whatsoever, but maybe it's the same artist. Now I'm curious. I'll have to look that up.
Also, having read no other Power Man, which is Luke Cage, Power Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Having read none of that, and especially after just recently watching Defenders, Colleen, Misty Knight, and Luke Cage are so strange.
Oh yeah, they show up at the end, don't they?
Yeah, they're in it.
Again, but yeah.
They're so strange in this to me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, especially since like maybe Civil War was over at this point, because like at the beginning they're like, yeah, she's running the Heroes for Hire now, which was totally our gig, you know. And then at this point, it's like they must have reconciled because they're all working together.
Also, so Iron Fist and Misty Knight had a thing. Now, can you picture TV Iron Fist and TV Misty Knight having a thing?
No,
I can't. I can't at all.
No.
But everyone and their mom has been with Mystique, and I can't necessarily see a movie version of her with
any of them.
Yeah.
Mystique, yeah. That's true, and everyone is Mystique's child.
Yes, I know.
Right.
So Luke Cage, I don't know. I kind of like TV version of Luke Cage, even though I typically say he's kind of bland. Because the TV version of, and I was like, the Sweet Christmas thing comes from the comics, really? But because the TV version of Luke Cage says stuff like Sweet Christmas, but in this he says Sweet Grawlix Christmas, and I was like, I always assumed Luke Cage said Sweet Christmas because that's his way of getting around saying like a dirty word, but apparently not. He's a bit more foul-mouthed in this.
Yeah.
Him and Misty both drop some Grawlixes.
I don't think there was enough for me to have any kind of opinion about them other than they look like a weird Charlie's Angels that's trying to be affirmative action-y and hire men too. I don't know.
They definitely, when all three of them, because Luke Cage is in earlier, but when all three of them show up, they do hit that pose for like 2 panels. It's the same pose, and it is very Charlie's Angels. Also, that's Colleen Wing?
Yeah, I believe so.
She's white in the comics?
Yes, the Daughters of the Dragon.
She's white? Because Misty says she's white.
Looks like she's at least part Japanese. Yeah, no, her mother was Japanese.
Oh, okay.
In the comics.
Gotcha. Okay. God, I was so confused. I was like, wait, really? Yeah, I don't know. The comic versions of them were just very strange to me. I don't know that I was ready for it. Not that they're that different, I guess, but I mean, I don't know. I guess we have said a lot about it, but I don't really have much more to say about it. I was not super amazed by this book.
Me either, in case you couldn't tell.
Like, it's okay. And like I said, there's some stuff I liked, but I wasn't thrilled with it, most of it. There's some backstory stuff. Obviously, they kind of want it to be some type of jump-on point, but it feels more like adding on to a bunch of stuff that's already there that you don't know about than telling you what's there.
I agree.
Yeah, I think it was like Ed Brubaker's addition to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like bringing it into the, bringing it into the now.
Yeah, besides some flashbacks that are just make everything more confusing, the only thing that it explained was that there's a bunch of steam things that happened that you don't know about, and there's these Crane women who are mad at him.
Yeah.
For some reason. Not our Iron Fist, but the previous one. So. Yeah.
And Danny Rand as a character, at least in this, just didn't give me enough to really be on board with. He whined in his narration quite a bit about this title that was his father's, but now it's him. It's his. He's got to do it.
But it wasn't his father's.
His father wanted it, but something happened, and now it's his. He whined about it being forced on him, basically, several times.
Yeah, like from the very beginning. Like, that's how it opened the book.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess that sucks. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Why'd you go put your hand in a dragon heart then?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, if you didn't want it.
Seems like a lot of work just to be like a little league kid.
Yeah.
Your dad's out there like, you're going to do it, kid. You're going to be the best.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to be the Iron Fist of the whole thing.
Yeah.
The bit with the mother and the wolves, even though it was just like a line, I thought that was kind of hardcore. I was like, whoa.
I know that was freaking horrible. If I was him,
Yeah.
that'd be the most horrible thing that's happened to me ever.
Uh-huh.
But they just give it over.
He's kind of like a slightly magical kung fu Batman, which should be awesome, but there's just, I don't know what the
There's
difference-
none of the Batman though.
Yeah, I don't know what the difference is, but there's nothing on there that...
Because he grew up in Kowloon instead of with Alfred, like he should have.
That's a good point. He should have, yeah. Danny Rand should have grew up with Alfred.
And then he would have been
Should
awesome.
have had one.
And your city, it's not dark enough.
Right.
There needs to be more goth in that city.
Need to go to Hell's Kitchen a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah, more goth, less ham.
Whole lot.
More goth, less ham. Yes, exactly. Of course, this is just the first 6 issues of a well, at the time, ongoing series.
I'm sure it maybe picks up. I mean, it seems like it ends on a pretty interesting note where they're going to go on this like crazy death tournament thing.
Yeah, they're gonna go
We
play
said
Mortal
basically,
Kombat.
yeah, they're going to play Mortal Kombat basically.
Uh-huh.
In a twisty Sky City
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
there are 7 of? Is that what that was?
Well, there are 7 warriors or something that are gonna fight. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I thought they all represented one of those god creatures.
Oh.
That-
Probably. Yeah, probably.
And maybe I'm wrong, but it seemed like they were assigned to city. Like I said. Because they talked about some other city too, I think.
The Crane Mother was from
Kun
Zun.
Mu, or yeah.
It was like Kunlun, but with a Z somewhere, so it was
Right.
sinister.
Yeah.
Right. You can start to see where people have a problem with this, like it's cultural appropriation. Like they were like, "You just took that city and changed a letter,"
Yeah.
and that may be why we're having a hard time with it too. Is that like this is one of those stories from that era where it's like they really could have just made this Shang-Chi, made this Shang-Chi the Iron Fist, and it would have been fine. But instead they had to make it a white guy.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the world wasn't ready for non-white heroes at that point, I guess. I don't know. Not saying that was okay.
Maybe they're like, well, little white boys are the ones that spend money on comic books, so we have to make them feel like they could be this person. But then again, then their parents would have to be murdered, and they would have to live in some...
They'd also have to be rich.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's ridiculous.
It was an interesting read. I'm glad I read it, and it was a fairly quick read too.
Yeah. It's definitely a gap that I had, so, I mean, I'm glad that we went there. And I'm betting that it probably goes to some interesting places, and it would probably be worth reading some more of. I don't know if I will.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm excited enough about it at this point. Maybe further down the road, I would have a different opinion of that. But yeah, at this point, I don't know. This opening salvo of story didn't necessarily sell me.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of obviously we've just read a snippet of a longer story, but the first 6 issues as it's collected as a trade, as a new reader, the story that's the plot that's there isn't super interesting. It's obviously adding a bunch to the mythology and then setting up a big plot line, but beyond that, there's not a whole lot to grab onto.
I'm sure for longtime readers, and that must be why this is so. I think it's generally well liked, and so I imagine that the reason is that it opened things up for more, like it increased the lore, and I suppose like what Alan Moore did. But I didn't feel like you needed all that backstory for the Alan Moore soft reboot or whatever.
Yeah.
Or soft retcon or whatever you would call this.
And listen, before you jump down to the comments section, I mean, you should jump down there and say something.
Yeah.
Just know we don't know gits about Iron Fist, so...
Nope. Except Netflix, and Netflix was not very kind to...
No, it wasn't a good...
No.
It wasn't a good interpretation.
To be fair, though, Netflix series, for me, in my headcanon of Iron Fist now, set up Davos. I'd have no clue who that guy was Although I don't
Sure.
think he's exactly. I don't think he's the same relationship to
Not
Danny.
my Davos.
I know he was a bad guy, but other than that,
Yeah.
and that's just because of his name.
Yeah. Exactly. Davos is a bad name.
He should have. He didn't, but he should have a goatee and maybe a twirly mustache.
I was also Actually, this is a good point of what was disappointing about the end of this book. I mean, obviously it's setting up more stuff, but comes down to a big fight. Davos is there. He's gonna fight Danny. They do one kick explosion, and then Davos is like, "You're a cheater. You cheated. I'm out." And it's like, what? You just absorbed 12 crane women so you could have superpower. Why is Danny absorbing the chi of another Iron Fist and giving you an exploding kick? Cheating. It's the same thing.
Because he got his from the immortal dragon thing.
Xiao Lao.
Yes,
It's not cheating.
and he got his from some cranes. It's just not the same.
It's just
How many cranes does it take to make up a dragon? A lot.
they just set up.
A lot.
They set up this big, powerful bad guy, and then he's like, as soon as he gets one hit from the main character, he's like, "Oh, you're a cheater. I'm going home."
Yeah.
How many crane kicks does it take? That's kind of like the Tootsie Roll Pop version of
yeah.
Iron Fist.
One.
One lick.
Yeah, I mean, whoever added it to the list, thank you. Like I said, I appreciate reading it, but yeah, it was interesting.
Still enjoyable. There was still fun stuff in there, exciting, entertaining things. I mean, I could watch Iron Fist and Luke Cage eat Chinese food for days.
Yeah,
That's entertaining. That's entertaining somehow.
I did like. I mean, obviously they have like a pre-existing friendship, so I like how it came across here versus like we were talking last episode in the Defenders TV series. Just because here I assume there's a more plausible like friendship between those two.
Sure. Well, and they even say, "Oh man, this is just like old times."
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah. So I enjoyed that. And hey, it's actually been a while since I read a comic for the show that I was like, it was okay. And that's kind of refreshing because the last few we did, we enjoyed so much. We just kind of like last month, both books you weren't here for those episodes, but me and Jesse did Invincible and a Superman story. Mm-hmm. And kind of, you knew.
I'm so happy, but the last one that I read was downer.
What was it? Oh yeah, I forgot about Pride of Baghdad.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well-
that's right. Yeah.
So.
I even referenced the Superman books in my most recent video for the YouTube channel.
Oh yeah.
Did you get a chance to watch that one yet?
I watched part of it last night, but no, I haven't got to watch the whole thing yet. But I did watch.
Oh, you got to, because I get to Lois Lane, and that's the best. That's the part to wait for. So
Okay, all right. So, how long are those guys gonna go? Are they just gonna go?
I think that they are trying to go till 50. I think that's the goal. Speaking of, we've got letters from Peter again.
Oh man, let's do some letters. Woohoo! Letters from letters from
Are
Peter.
we ready? Did we wrap it up? I felt like we wrapped it up. Sort
We
of.
wrapped it up.
We wrapped it. Yes, we did. Because it's Halloween. It's Halloween, and you want to be safe, like a mummy, right?
Mummies are safe.
Am I right? I think so. I think they're safe, except for that whole curse thing.
Yeah,
Curse to roam the earth thing.
they seem pretty safe though.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, they don't even die, so they're pretty safe.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a question from Peter. That's he's from the Superior Comic Show, and he's at Superior Comic 16 on the Twitters, and he asked, since it's Halloween, what comic characters could play horror movie villains? And the example that he gives is Slapstick as Pennywise, because Slapstick is kind of a cartoon clown. So what comic book characters would we dress up as a horror villain? Randy, you said you had an idea.
I do have an idea. Okay, and this isn't probably not completely surprising, but it's perfect. Whole Swamp Thing. Of course, I'm
Oh,
gonna go
boy.
there. I mean, he's kind of a monster in him, as is. But that's not the question. The question is, what comic book, whatever character would we replace a horror movie character with?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Thing from Another Planet, which was what, the Thing.
Like John Carpenter's Thing? Or?
John Carpenter's Thing was based on both the story that both movies were based on and also kind of a remake of the original movie. The original movie is called The Thing from Another Planet, which is based on the same story. And I'm trying to remember Who Goes There or something is the name of the short story. But in the original movie, it's not like the John Carpenter Thing. It's not like this weird, shape-shifting, organic, weird thing that clones people. It's a plant monster. It's a man-shaped monster that is a plant made out of vegetation.
Is Little Shop of Horrors based on that too?
What's that?
Has it his Little Shop of Horrors based on it?
No, but now I'm picturing Swamp Thing in the Audrey pot.
Yeah.
Feed me.
Seymour, feed me now.
But yeah, that's a super easy answer. But it's perfect because he really is kind of Swamp Thing, in the monster in that movie, but from outer space.
Mine was kind of pretty easy too. I just figured Freddy Krueger is very disfigured because he's burned and whatnot, and he's also Mr. Quippy, kind of funny even though inappropriate. And so I thought Deadpool is Freddy Krueger.
Oh yeah,
I see it. I totally, and they both have hot dog face.
Hot dog face.
Topographical map of Utah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I could see Deadpool even doing it. No, see, and Deadpool would realize he's Deadpool as Freddy Krueger and make it all meta.
For sure.
Yeah.
Keep
he
doing
could even
it.
break the fourth wall.
And it really wouldn't be that
meta.
different than just Freddy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's a good one. Mine is similarly, I guess, easy, but maybe a little more whatever. But I was thinking the Hulk as a wolfman, and then he just get angry and turn into a wolf.
That's good.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I like that.
Or I guess maybe
You wouldn't like me when it's full moon.
You wouldn't like me when I'm hairy.
That's interesting though, and I like that question because maybe not so much with the Deadpool one, but there's a lot of comic book characters based on these old sci-fi and horror characters and tropes. I mean,
sure.
Hulk is very much Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. But even Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde ties in very much with the Wolfman. It's like a normal guy transforms into a beast, uncontrollable beast.
I think Hulk would be scarier. Okay, a werewolf or Hulk as a werewolf or whatever, you know what I mean, would be scarier than either of them individually. Because somebody that gets mad and turns into a big crazy freaking wolf thing that's going to eat me is scarier than some big green guy, in my opinion. And then somebody that will turn into a big scary wolf thing and attack me just because they're angry and not because the moon is full is freaking scary too. Mm-hmm. So you just want to always give that guy his way. That's all I'm saying.
How about the DC Justice League Dark? What do they call him? Agent of something. Frankenstein.
Oh, yeah.
As Frankenstein. There's totally a Frankenstein character in the DC. He's Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's who he is.
And
he could be the Mummy. No, Frankenstein.
That
when
works.
DC was
That's dumb.
all
That's
horror
obvious.
comics, wasn't it? For a while there, before the Comics Code, wasn't DC Comics pretty much all horror comics?
Let me think.
And then the Comics Code came out.
I don't know.
Satanic Panic kind of thing.
They were definitely heavy on the crime stuff because before the Comics Code, horror comics and crime comics were the big thing.
Right.
And obviously with Detective Comics, which spawned Batman. But
Well, isn't that what DC stands for?
yeah. I don't know. I don't know how much. And the other issue is there were a ton of publishers that were doing horror comics. And a lot of those publishers, when the Comic Code came out, went out of business. And it's hard to say because DC then gobbled a whole bunch of those companies up. I mean, that's how they have. It seems like at least a quarter of the stable, big characters they have were from other publishers. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm kind of curious how many horror, the horror comics DC themselves put out. I'd have to look into that. Because, I mean, Batman and Superman were both pre-code stuff.
Yeah. I think that they both went up against like Dracula and whatnot. And then like after the code, like they weren't allowed to or something.
And, well, if they were detective-y comics, maybe they were like Scooby-Doo, except that, you know, the supernatural things really were supernatural and they didn't have anything under the mask. You know?
Right. I would have gotten away with it too if I wasn't dead and a ghost.
The comics code is so crazy. Like, talk about just like, I mean, obviously it didn't kill the industry, but like destroying the industry as it was at the time. Because even crime comics, because that was a big issue, was crime comics. Stuff like, you know, you can't have any characters do bad things unless they're the bad guy, in which case they have to be dealt with by the end of the issue. Like, that means you can't have multi-issue storylines with criminals in it.
Right.
Why?
Well, to make sure that the moral, it's clear the moral of the story is like criminals get punished. Because the kids, Melanie, the kids.
Yeah. That's why we had to have like a moral at the end of every He-Man episode. And He-Man didn't even do anything in those cartoons. Like the worst thing he would do is maybe like, I don't know, shove you.
Yeah.
He had a sword, but did he ever use it? I don't think so.
He used
Just
to
to turn into
transform.
He-Man.
Yeah.
It's fun to hear the rules imposed on like the X-Men cartoons and stuff. Like Wolverine, apparently. I imagine it'd be the same for even Ninja Turtles, but Wolverine was a hard character to deal with because his whole thing is he has claws, but he can't ever use them on anyone.
Like on a person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the whole like super cheesy villain lines of like, I will destroy you or this will be your end is because they can't say, I'll kill you.
I'm going to murder you.
Yeah, they can't say
I'm going to
that.
murder your face.
See, if they'd have just done it like that, maybe they could have split that by. But
there you go. Just your face.
Censorship stuff is very frustrating, but looking back on it is kind of fascinating to me.
Right, yeah.
Man, how did we get here? Oh,
I have no idea.
DC
Oh,
horror.
Halloween. Halloween.
I thought we were like wrapping stuff up, but
Whoa, scary comics code.
I won.
They couldn't even have vampires and stuff. They did somehow, but they couldn't.
But we're done with that now. Come on. What are we doing?
Thank you for the question, Peter. I wish I had more examples. That's a fun question to me.
It was fun.
I was trying to think, like, who would be Michael Myers, and I kept going to Superman because you just can't kill him.
That's a good point, yeah. Maybe Bizarro.
Yeah.
Superman. Because he's kind of dumb.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know that Michael Myers is dumb, but he doesn't ever talk, so
I think he might be.
he does seem dumb.
He does. Yeah.
But, okay. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween!
Let's do some movie quotes.
Happy Halloween.
Are you haunted by shadow people in the middle of the night?
Do you secretly love all things creepy and spooky, enjoying ghost stories and horror fiction from the best storytellers?
Do you have a true ghost experience you want to share, but no one will believe you?
If yes, listen to the professionals on What Are You Afraid Of? Horror Paranormal Show Friday nights at 9 p.m. on Para X Radio and at www.whatareyouafraidofpodcast.com.
What are you afraid of on Para X?
Our creepy and demented hosts are on call to provide you with all your spooky needs with true ghost stories, interviews, indie music, and new horror fiction. We are ready to scare you.
Para X.
This is Melanie. Don't Grawlix yourself, don't Grawlix each other, and especially don't Grawlix me.
This is Randy. I'm every Grawlix you've ever had. I'm your worst dream come true. I'm everything you were ever afraid of.
This is Jesse. I thought I'd gone to the limits. I hadn't. The Cenobites gave me an experience beyond limits. Pain and Grawlix indivisible.
Thank you for listening to the Grawlix Podcast. The Grawlix Podcast is a production of the Electronic Media Collective and Vorpal Arrow Studios. For more Grawlix Podcasts, check out GrawlixPodcast.com. Also find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, YouTube, ElectronicMediaCollective.com, Facebook.com/Grawlix Podcast, Twitter.com/Grawlix Podcast, all the .com/all the Grawlix Podcast.
What the heck are they doing out there?
I don't know.
Moving bodies?
Maybe.
Perfect.